Morning, my dear students. So today, let's begin with Chapter 7, Conservation of Plants and Animals, Class 8, Science. This is Part 1, Introduction by your Sonali ma'am. Let's begin. So, we can start the chapter Conservation of Plants and Animals. Now this is very interesting chapter for them who are interested for the plants and the animals, and I'm sure all of you must be interested for the nature and the components of nature. Now this chapter is very easy, very interesting, and most importantly it talks about the animals and the plants, which are most important part of our ecosystem. You know what is ecosystem? Now just look around. Right now when I'm making this video, I can hear the sound of rain which is drizzling heavily here. So that is something nature, and without water you and me or even plants cannot survive. So it's our moral duty to conserve nature in as it is manner. So this chapter is all about how plants and animals can be conserved as well as they can be maintained, and what are the role of these plants and animals to maintain our ecosystem and food chains. So let's begin. First of all, very important key point is plants for this chapter, and when we discuss the plant we should not forget deforestation. You all know what is deforestation. Now deforestation is something to do with where number of trees or number of forests reduce drastically, either with the help of human activity or by the natural calamities. Now this year, in the year beginning, you might have seen or you might have heard in the news that Australia had the forest fire, and in that forest fire it was so fatal that 80% koalas, a very cute creature, died in that fire. And that fire was so unstoppable that ultimately it could control only with the help of rain. So this deforestation is very important key point when we are discussing about for the conservation of plants and the animals. Now deforestation is the clearing of forest and using land for the other purpose is called the deforestation. You might have seen that Ahmedabad and its surface is expanding. Its diameter is expanding. Before 10 years, there was nothing like New Bhopal, South Bhopal and the Shela. They were all the forest. And now this all things have converted into the urbanized cities or urbanized areas, because there we have created a concrete building. And to create a concrete building, you have to remove the forest which is already there. So for the instant purpose of ours, we do that. We convert our green zone or green land which is used for the cultivation into making huge buildings and tall buildings. But we forget that if we reduce the trees just like this way, there will be a time that we will not have sufficient oxygen and rain on the earth. The causes of the deforestation are procuring land for the cultivation, else you just convert the forest for the cultivation or the agriculture activity. Number 2, building houses and factories, just now we discussed. Using wood as a fuel or making furniture. So the natural cause of deforestation are forest fire and the drought. Suppose the desert area like Kutch and the Jaisalmer which are there in India, they don't receive enough rain for successive years, and this area will convert into the drought because no plants and animal can survive without water. That leads to drought, and that is the ultimate conditions for the deforestation. Consequences of deforestation. Now we just saw what are the factors involved for the deforestation, but let's talk what all are the consequences of deforestation. The consequences of deforestation are increase in the temperature and the pollution level on the earth, increase in the level of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere leading to global warming, Now the first is increase in temperature and the pollution. You all know that in last 5 and 10 years, the number of public transport usage is decreased, and people who are using the private transport and vehicle is drastically increases. Now carbon dioxide is increased due to less amount of plants, because carbon dioxides are only taken by the plants for the photosynthesis. So you don't have enough plants. So number of or the molecules of carbon dioxide will directly increase in the air. And this carbon dioxide can trap heat which is there in the surrounding, that leads to the global warming. Lowering the groundwater level. Now no plants, no rain. So all the rain, whatever there in the ground level, is going to be drastically decreases. Disturb the balance in the nature. Yes. Now rain and the seasons, their pattern is going to get disturbed if there are no plants. Decrease in the rainfall leading to drought. Soil erosion. Now no plant, that means desertification starts, and that leads to soil erosion. That means soil starts doing infertile, it turn into infertile conditions, and decrease in the soil fertility leading to the desertification. Decrease in the water holding capacity of soil leading to floods. So this all are the consequences of deforestation. This is an important question. Kindly memorize all key points, and you can write the answers in your own language, making the same sentences. Now let's talk about the biodiversity. Now in science, if you break the word, you can get the meaning of that scientific keyword. Bio, that means something living. Diversity, that is variety. So variety of living creature on the earth is known as biodiversity. Now biodiversity is the decrease of variation of life. This can refer to genetic variation. Now when I say genetic, that means you and me both are different because our genes are different. Species variation, that means a species like dog and cat, okay, they are the different species, but tiger, leopard and cat, they belong to same family of species. Or ecosystem, the system which is made up of abiotic and biotic component. So abiotic, non-living components which are the part of ecosystem like water, air and land, and biotic components which are the living organisms or living components which are plants, insects and animals within an area of biome or the planet. Now we all live on the world, we all live on the earth. So our bio is earth planet. Terrestrial biodiversity tend to be highest near the equators. When you go near to equators, you will find the highest biodiversity, which seems to be the result of the warm climate and the high primary productivity. Because of the moderate temperature and the warmth, their growth of the insect, plant and animals is comparatively higher than the away from the equators. Marine biodiversity tend to be highest along the coast in the western Pacific, where the sea surface temperature is highest, and in mid-latitudinal band it is in all oceans. Now biodiversity generally tend to cluster in the hot spot and has been increasing through the time, but will likely to be slow in the future. Now they says that any species need time to grow and multiply. So there will be a time that the growth of that species will be in the peak position, and then it will slow down. Rapid environmental changes typically cause the mass increase or decrease in the biodiversity. So you know have the bit idea about the biodiversity. Now conservation of forest and wildlife. Now for that many initiatives are taken by our government. So these initiatives are like conserving forest and conserving the restricted area, restricting human activity in the forest and the other activities. So like poaching animals, killing an animal or hunting animal, that has been prohibited in those conserved area. Now conservation, that means to protect something. So when you conserve forest, you're not only protecting plants, but you are also protecting their habitats, that is the animals. Now, forest and the wildlife can be conserved by setting up the areas like biosphere, reserves, wildlife sanctuaries and national parks, etc. So let's talk about the biosphere reserve, national parks and the wildlife sanctuaries. You might have visited one of them or all of them during your field trips, school picnics or your vacations. Biosphere reserves are the large area of protected land for conservation of biodiversity and the traditional life of the tribal living there. That means they are away from the human activity and they are the untouched portion on the earth. There we maintain the tribal in their activities, as well as we maintain the biodiversity including plants and the animals there. Then national parks are the areas reserved for wildlife where they can freely use the habitat and natural resources. And the third is wildlife sanctuaries are the areas where animals are protected from any disturbance to them or their habitat. Now let me tell you, I have visited one of this biosphere reserve which is there in the Gir in Gujarat, that is for the conservation of the Gujarat Asiatic lions. Then also I have visited two national parks and the bioreserves in the Karnataka near Bangalore, which are the reserve for the tiger. I have also visited the Corbett National Park, which is there in the Uttarakhand, that is the reserve for the tiger. Also, there is one national park, or I can say the biosphere reserve in the Ranthambore in Rajasthan, that is for the conservation of tigers. So whenever we visit some state, we always prefer to see their speciality or something unique about them. So whenever next time you visit some area or the vacations, you should look for certain biosphere reserves and national parks and some wildlife sanctuaries available over there. Now biosphere reserve, they are the large areas covered for the conservation of tribals and their activities as well as their wildlife animals. You can see this is the picture taken from the biosphere reserve. Now biosphere reserve is an area proposed by its residents, mostly tribes, ratified by the National Committee and designed by the UNESCO's Man and Biosphere MAB program, which demonstrate the innovative approaches to living and working in a harmony with the nature. One of the primary objectives of MAP is to achieve sustainable balance between the goals of conserving biological diversity, promoting economic development, and maintaining associated cultural values. What is the meaning of this? Biological diversity, that means you are maintaining and conserving the number of species living there without disturbing the tribes and their activities. Promoting economic development, that means you can convert them into the tourist places without harming those places. And maintaining association of the culture value, that means that area has certain the olden culture values that we have to respect and value, and we have to go along with those culture as well as the new innovative ideas. The term biosphere refers to all the land, water and atmosphere that supply life on the earth. The word reserve means that it is the special area recognized for balancing conservation with the sustainable use. The term reserve does not mean that these places are set aside from the human use and development. Now let me tell you, that doesn't mean that humans are not at all able to enter those areas. Yes, their harmful activities are for surely prohibited, but these biospheres work parallel with the humans and their association with the culture as well as the tradition and the habitat. In fact, the study of human use is an important part of Biosphere Reserve program. Each Biosphere Reserve demonstrates the practical approaches to balancing and conservation of the human use of the area that are involved with the human association as well as the plants and the animals. National parks. This is one of the pictures of the deer which is taken from the National Park of Gir. This is the real picture that I have included here. A national park is a park used for the conservation purposes. Often it is reserve of the natural and semi-natural and the developed land that sovereign state declares or its own. I have visited one of the national park here in Gandhinagar, that is the famous park for Indroda Park. Although individual nation design their own national parks differently, even I have visited one national park which is purely reserved for the rhinos and the tigers in the Thailand. That is the city called Phuket. That is the Sri Racha National Park and the zoo that was conserved for the elephants, tigers, and the rhinos. There is a common idea the conservation of wild nature for posterity and the symbol of national pride. Furthermore, an international organization, the International Union for Conservation of Nature (IUCN) and the World Commission and the Protected Areas has defined national park as a category 2 type of protected areas. While the ideas for this type of national park had been suggested previously, the United States established the first such one, Yellowstone National Park, in 1872. The largest national park in the world, meeting the IUCN definition, is the Northeast Greenland National Park, which is established in 1974. According to IUCN, there were 6,555 species conserved and protected in that national park. Wildlife sanctuaries. Now you might have be aware about this kind of scenario. Okay, one of such national wildlife sanctuary is there in the Phuket for the tigers. In that you are able to visit the tiger along with the cage. You can enter the cage and those tigers are trained such a way that they will not harm to you. They are human friendly tigers. Even such kind of facility and such kind of attraction is available in the South Africa for visit. You can also visit the lions along with your safari visit. Such experience I have done with this one of the Gir sanctuary in our country in Gujarat, and Ranthambore Jeep Safari, and the Kanha Wildlife Sanctuary and the reserve, as well as the Corbett National Park. Now, Wildlife Sanctuary is also called the Wild Refuge. Is a naturally occurring sanctuary such as island that provide the protection of species from hunting, predation, or the competition. It is the protected area geographic territory within which wildlife is protected. Such wildlife refuges are generally officially designed territories. It is created by the government legislation. In the 3rd century BC, a king of Tisha declared the area around the mini-natal Sri Lanka as the sanctuary of wildlife, probably the first of its kind in the Asian world. According to stone inscriptions found in the vicinity, the king commanded the people not to harm the animals or destroy trees within the area. The first American wildlife refuge, Lake Merritt Wildlife Refuge at the Lake Merritt, was established by the Samuel Merritt and enacted in the California state in 1870 as the first governmental owned refuge. The first federally owned refuge in America is Pelican Island National Wildlife Refuge and was established by the Theodore Roosevelt in 1903 as a part of his Coral Deal campaign to improve America. Now you might have observed that the other countries rather than India are more focusing to reserve the biosphere and the national parks and the cultural values of those habitat. But nowadays even India is determined to maintain and create such more and more biospheres. At the time, setting aside the land for wildlife was not a constitutional right of precedent. More recently, this is the part of our constitutional right not to poach and have any animal and to reserve them as it is. This is the real picture which has been used here. Now, zoo. A zoo is a short for zoological park or the zoological garden, and also called the menagerie or menagerie, is a facility in which animals are confined with the enclosures displayed to the public and which they may be. The term of zoological garden refers to zoology, the study of animals, and the term derived from the Greek zoon, that means animal. Generally, this zoo visit are done when we are so small and in our childhood, just to identify various types of wild animals and the domestic animals in their habitats. The abbreviation zoo was first used in the London Zoological Gardens, which opened for the scientific study in 1828 to the public in 1847. The number of major animal collection open to the public is mentioned there, and this zoo facilitate the common people and common public to have the experience about the various kind of wildlife and their habitat and their foods. And whenever you visit certain zoos, there is a one famous zoo in Kakaria area, you can find all the information about that creature. So this was all the introduction about the type of conservation, biosphere reserves, national parks, wildlife sanctuaries, and the zoo. Furthermost, we will discuss in our coming part. Thank you.